Hi, everybody. It's Mike from Here the Watchman. And on today's Here the Watchman report, I am so excited to have none other than Lisa Haven. Lisa is perhaps one of the top truther YouTubers. I mean, she delivers some just amazing stuff. You want to find out, if you're not subscribed to her channel, you need to go there today and subscribe to it and click the little bell so that you get a notice when she posts videos. She posts them every day, Monday through Friday. And if there's breaking news on Saturday, she's on there on Saturday. Just an amazing woman who gives you the truth about what's happening. Just Google Lisa Haven YouTube and you'll get her channel right away. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me on, Mike. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Well, thank you. Now today, folks, we're going to talk about something that's really kind of, I don't know, I'll call it frightening. I don't know what you want to really call it, but we're going to talk about the Bilderberg conference coming up in Virginia. It's right around the corner, folks. And this is, I don't know if your head's so far in the sand that you don't know what the Bilderberg conference is, but what this really is the elite and the New World Order trying to figure out over the course of a few days how they're going to control all of us. Lisa, give us a little bit about what you know about what's going to happen in Virginia.
Oh yeah, well the Bilderberg, it went on this month, June 1st through the 4th. So they just ended, but in case people don't know who they are, they're basically an elitist group that get together every year and they talk about politics, they talk about secretive agendas, and they push the New World Order globalist agenda. And I think they've only been publicizing this for around 10 years, maybe even less than that, I'm guesstimating here. But before that, and before it came online, they denied it even exists. Now that is truly important because anybody who tries to hide what they're doing and going on means they're doing a lot more than what they're actually letting on. But now it's gotten so much attention, it's been exposed, and people have attended this. We've had the Clintons on the Bilderberg list. We know Kissinger's been on there. I'm sure Soros been there, although I don't remember if he's officially been on the list. But every year, Angela Merkel has been a part of it. Just, dictators and big bankers and CEOs of huge organizations attend. And I think since around 2013-ish, they've been sharing their participation list every year. Now, again, keep in mind, I don't believe that it's the full participation list. I'm sure there are some participants that are not sharing on it. But this year's event actually took place in Chantilly, like Billy, correct, I said it wrong, but Chantilly, Virginia. And it got a lot of attention this year, probably one of the most, because Donald Trump's in office and he knows well about them, I'm sure. But there were a few people on there that were really concerning to me this year as far as who was on the list. Do you want me to share a few of those real quick? Yeah, okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Some of those included were on Donald Trump's campaign. McMaster, he was there, HR McMaster. Chris Liddell, also in Trump's organization. And then the final one is Wilbur Ross. So a lot of people speculate, well, maybe they're part of the troublemakers in Trump's campaign. Others say that maybe they're going to get intel for Donald Trump. Whatever the reason, there's the three of them on there. And I love Donald Trump and his organization. I don't support everything, but I love a lot of what he's doing. And so I'm huge there. So I'm kind of interested in how this is playing out. Could really go either way. And then the other one that really rang a bell for me, and there's a ton on there, CEOs, but the other one that really rang a bell and was kind of eerie to me was the general director for CERN. And that is Fabiola Gionati. Now, the reason she rings a bell is because if you look on their agenda, and I'm going to share that agenda in a moment, but if you look on it, there's not a single thing about technology or science or anything that would involve the CERN monster, if you will. And never, as far as I could look back, in their participation list has anyone really from CERN been involved in this. So this is the first year that the actual director has been in attendance and invited to participate in the Bilderberg event. So that intrigues me, because I know you've had Anthony Patch on before, and he's talked about the portals and you know, how CERN can likely open up these demonic interdimensional portals into hell, you know, and I think they're really dabbling in stuff like that, and it's a pretty scary line. And here they are in league with many of the elitists there at Bilderberg. So,
you know, it's interesting, Lisa. I mean, I was with Anthony Patch last weekend in Dallas, Texas, and he and I had sort of this similar conversation to what you're talking about right now. It's absolutely frightening. Absolutely frightening what they're doing with CERN, and it's all so cloak and dagger. Don't you agree?
oh, absolutely. And that's the thing. A lot of the elitists are involved in satanic things. We know that in the Podesta emails, it very openly talked about Maria Abramovich, who is very involved in spirit cooking. We know that involves pig blood sacrifice. It's just gory and nasty. If anybody hasn't seen that yet, just Google it. You'll get, you may want to put your kids in another room. But this is the kind of thing that these elitists and the people that are attending these meetings are involved in. And Henry Kissinger is one that's on there every year. But I encourage everyone, they can go to bilderbergmeetings.org, and you can actually scroll through the list to see the participants, and you can get their topics of discussion. Now, here's their topics of discussion. I'm just going to share them real quick. There's about 13, and they're just really quick. But the first was the Trump administration. They want to talk about Donald Trump, his progress. Basically, I take that as obviously they hate Donald Trump. They want him out of office. Donald Trump is anti-New World Order, and the Bilderberg are part of the people pulling the strings from behind the scenes. They're part of the deep state, part of the problem, and that's why a lot of CEOs and billionaires go there. But their number one problem, it seems, at least for this year, is Donald Trump. They don't like him. They want to take him out, and I think that's what number one is all about. Number 2 and 3 go together: the transatlantic relationships, options and scenarios, and the transatlantic defense alliance, bullets, bites, and buckets. We need to get rid of the TPP, the TAP, whatever they want to dub it, because it's bad, and here they are pushing it. So pretty much what they're pushing there, we don't want here. 4, the direction of the European Union. That's actually something they've had on the agenda every single year. If we take in mind Brexit, which happened recently, I think that's obviously going to be a topic of discussion for them, because they do not want any more of that. Number 5, and I find this interesting because they admit it, but they say, can globalization be slowed down? It's like, in other words, they don't want to slow down the New World Order. They want to speed it up. And they think Brexit and Donald Trump are slowing it down. Marie Le Pen, those who are on the side of nationalism or on the side of freedom. But last year, just to preface this, last year was the first year that they ever actually admitted to talking about globalization. Prior years, I looked through and I couldn't find anything. So last year they talked about pushing the globalist agenda, and this year they're asking the question, can it be slowed down? So I found that fascinating too. Then it gets into jobs, income, unreal expectations. The war on information is number 7. And may I say, it's more or less the war to get rid of information that's in opposition to them. I'm pretty sure that's what that's about. Fighting people like you, Mike, getting you off the air, getting me off the air, others like us off the air. Anyone with the Christian, conservative, patriotic, nationalist, and you're going to see in a moment, populists. Those are people who believe that there is an elite ruling class ruling from behind the scenes. Those are populists. Those are us. That's a biblical principle, because we believe in the spiritual force that rules from behind the scenes. That's Satan and his minions that are well talked about in the Bible. And God says they're pulling the strings of the principalities, there on earth. And so that's part of our very core there, if you will, if you want to label it that way. But number 8, they asked the question, why is populism growing? Which, other words, that ties in Christianity. They don't want that because they don't want to be exposed. That's who they are. And then 10, the Near East. And I don't know if they meant Middle East there, because I'm like, I don't know, because they have the Middle East on there every single year, like clockwork. And then 11, 12, and 13 are nucleoproliferation, China, and then current events is on there every year. China's pretty typical, and nuclear proliferation I have not seen much of in the past, but obviously it's on the agenda. So I don't know, what's your take on all those topics?
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, it's to me, my take on it is it's so frightening, especially in my opinion. What they want to do is they want to silence the Christian voice. That's number one. And let's look at Donald Trump. Okay, you and I have both had Larry Nichols, the Washington insider, the man that blew the top off the whole Clinton administration and the Clinton Foundation. I believe that what they want to do is impeach Donald Trump. They want to move to impeach Donald Trump. Larry Nichols has that same opinion. He believes that within the next 6 months, they will start impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump unless all of us stand up. But then again, time and time again, Lisa, and you're so right, they want to silence the voices. What they want is only for their agenda and their voice to be heard. That's kind of my take on it. Are you feeling the same way?
Absolutely. I mean, one of their topic and bullet points was the war on information, and they mean the war on their New World Order information. And we know that because since Donald Trump has gotten into office, they've upped their game. Like huge. Like we had advertisers being attacked on every outlet. Take Fox News, for example. O'Reilly got let go, Bill O'Reilly, which I'm not that fond of Bill O'Reilly, to be honest, but it's what he stands for, more or less, and some of that stuff with the older crowd, I guess, and the later crowds. But he was taken off for sexual assault, whatever, harassment or whatever. That's what Fox News is. That's been the rumor or story or whatever. But I'm sure that very likely is the case. But they have a lot of people within Fox News that do that, or other news agencies or CNN news agencies. So what it really boiled down to, especially since this has been going on for years, is I think advertisers pulling from Bill O'Reilly, and then you hit the money pockets of those at Fox News. So then they're forced. Same thing which they attempted to do with Hannity, there. So what's happening is we have a lot of advertisements being pulled from YouTube. If we have the far left advertisers attempting to pull their money, which they have done from YouTube, which hit in turn all the YouTube, but the ultimate target here is the alternative media, because a lot of these were leftist fronts. We had Walmart pull out, AT&T, Verizon, from the YouTube crowd there. But this is their new attack form, and people like David Barak, Media Matters, are paying hundreds of thousands, and I'm not exaggerating on that number, of people to troll these ad organizations and troll the internet in order to silence any conservative opinion. Now, I'm saying conservative, and I'm using the direct word from David Barak's memo. If anybody Googles David Barak memo, Media Matters, you'll pretty much get it up. But in that memo, it's the conservative view that is targeted. That means the Christian view, because many Christians are conservatives. And that's a problem that I see rising for us, right now. And the truth is, let's be frank, we don't have Christians. We don't have people on the right, and we're not even the far right. I hate that label, but because that's like, Nazi Germany. We ain't that. We're just a Christian, and we're standing for our values. But we don't pay people to troll the internet. We don't pay people to call these ad agencies. So it's not that we're losing the battle, but we really got to step up our game. If I'm going to be frank, that's what we have to do, kind of like they're doing. We need to call our senators, call their advertisers, and if we're going to win this political battle and keep our freedoms as a Christian, we have to step it up. And I don't believe that the Lord wants us to sit back and do nothing.
No, I agree with you, Lisa. And it's interesting that if you look at the liberals have been very effective over the course of, say, last 50 years of having a very strong grassroots movement where they are able to get their followers to come out. They go to the town hall meetings, they speak the liberal agenda, and bring down Trump, bring down conservatives, bring down the Christians, and they work it very, very well. Unfortunately, those of us as Christians, especially the conservative Christians, have done a very poor job of organizing and doing it on a grassroots movement. And I think, folks, what Lisa and I are saying right now, it's time for us to stand up and be accountable, right, Lisa?
Agreed.
Yeah. So, Lisa, if you had to sum up for our viewers that might, just be waking up to the whole Bilderberg discussion, if you were to sum up in one sentence to them what the agenda of these people really is, what would you say in that one sentence?
That's hard to say it all in one sentence, but
Okay,
maybe
you can have 2 or 3.
I would say if we take it to the spiritual aspect of it, really, we have to remember who's pulling the strings, and that's Satan and, his minions. And when we boil it down to the biblical aspect, he has people doing his bidding, and God has people working for him. And so we have both of these sides. This is the battle we're seeing. And so I would say we can't give up and say it's end times, it doesn't matter, we can't do nothing. No. We can't do that. We need to fight the spiritual war spiritually through prayer and fasting and all of that, but we also need to fight the political war. And I don't mean physical fight. We're not at that point, but I mean fight it at the information level, at the political level, at the ballot box level, and let your voices be heard on all aspects, because otherwise we're going to lose this. And I don't want that for our generation, and losing it means we're further and further sliding from where God wants us to be, and more into the arms of, like, the Bilderbergs, who are run by a satanic organization. So,
well, Lisa, thank you, and amen to that. And folks, you really, if you want to get into this fight, you have to really get into it, and you have to help support the voices of the truth, like Lisa Haven and like myself and some of the other people that are out there, John B. Wells, that are it's difficult to do what we do, but we do it because, number one, we know that God is protecting us, and number two, we will not give up. Lisa, tell me, how do people find you? How do they, besides your YouTube channel, what else are you doing so people can find you and support you?
Yeah, I also have a website. It's lisahaven.news. If people want to go there, they can subscribe there, and obviously the YouTube channel. But those are really my 2 biggest outlets for now. So either way is totally great.
Well, awesome, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you're super, super busy, and I just really want to say thank you, and I appreciate you taking the time to be with us, folks. Lisa was at the Hear the Watchmen conference in Dallas, Texas, did an outstanding job. Go to hearthewatchmenmen.com. The next conference is Boise, Idaho. It's coming up right around the corner, August 18th through the 20th, the Riverside Hotel. Don't miss this one. Scotty Clark, Pastor Paul Begley, L.A. Marzulli, Dr. Michael Lake, and an entire host, Russ Dizdar, an entire host of other speakers. Go to the website, hearthewatchmen.com. Get there, get informed, be a part of this movement. Again, Lisa, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks again for having me, Mike.
All right, well, listen, folks, until the next time that I see all of you on the Watchman Report, God bless each and every one of you. Be informed, don't be afraid, trust in God. We'll see you next time on the Watchman's Report.